Welcome back. You're watching Hong Kong Direct. Our special studio guest is Daryl Anderson. Daryl, let's have a look at some of the news items coming through this week. And we'll go back to Monday night. And the Everest winner, Classique legend, touched down at Hong Kong Airport.
Yeah, exciting prospect, isn't he? The grey flash sort of gives you memories of Chautauqua. Does Classique legend. He's won, I think, what is it, about 6 of his 12 starts. The Everest winner, he was so impressive that day, and the form very well franked, with Bivouac coming out and winning at Flemington on the last day of the carnival. And yeah, it's an exciting time for Casper Fownes, who's got himself a pretty smart sprinter here.
Exactly right. Casper's stable's flying at the moment. When you look at overseas betting markets for the Hong Kong Sprint, they've got Classique legend a very short price favourite. Is this as simple, Daryl, as if he turns up, he wins?
I think he's got to acclimatise and settle in and obviously work up accordingly. But gee, on form and on paper, he looks extremely hard to beat, and it's exciting, isn't it? A prospect for local rider Vincent Ho, because although Kieran McAvoy has been given first right of refusal, if he isn't going to come down here and up here and do the quarantine here and also on the way back to Australia, then Vincent Ho is next on the list. And what an international day it could be for him, with Classique legend in the sprint and then Golden 60 in either the mile or the cup. It's I tell you what, I bet you he's pretty excited.
Yes, so all these Christmases could be coming at once. Let's stick with the sprint, though. One of Classique legend's rivals could be coming from Singapore, an emerging superstar in the Lion City. Let's find out how good Inferno is with the man who's called him in some of his big race wins, Nick Child.
Jurick's now pulled the favourite into the clear down the outside, and sparks begin to fly in the Guineas. Yo Chen's one following from Trading Post, Rocket Star, King's Command, but he says go on the favourite. A shake of the reins at Inferno, and he's put 2 or 3 lengths on them here. Rocket Star is chasing from Strong and Powerful, big-hearted, but boy oh boy is this a good horse. Up towards the line, Inferno wins the Guineas and wins it in a canter.
Here at Kranji, we think he's very good, and I know for fact, having spoken to his owner Glenn Wittenbury on more than one occasion, and his trainer Cliff Brown, I mean, they think the absolute world of this horse, and what he's been achieving thus far has been terribly exciting for all and sundry. So yeah, look, we personally think he's very good. He's as good as we've got here at the moment, and just given his devastating performances both in the Guineas and the Lion City Cup, I mean, he dropped back from 16 to 1200 with no real effect whatsoever. It was a sort of a cakewalk, really, against older horses there at Group 1 level, and traditionally the Lion City Cup obviously a very good race.
Here comes Inferno now, letting down on the outside for Jurick, and he has swept to the lead. Leads the way from stablemate Zach Carser. Skywalker's next. Mr. Malik, Gingerella trying to run home from Grand Kunta, but Cliff's Cub will become the leading lion in this city this afternoon, and he will win it in effortless fashion. Inferno too good.
You know, we've had some very good horses here down through the years, the likes of Rocket Man and the recently retired Warfare, plus Quetcher, who came across to Hong Kong, and so too Limbs Cruiser. But with this guy, without taking anything away from those horses, I personally feel he's a little bit better than them. I know he's got a long way to go before he hits the lofty heights that Rocket Man managed to achieve, but he's very good, this fellow, and I know his connections certainly think the same, and everybody here at Kranji gets terribly excited when he does turn up and race.
Could be really exciting for Singapore racing if they've got another Rocket Man on their hands in terms of Inferno, because we know how good Rocket Man was. He really proved himself on the world stage here in Hong Kong and also in Dubai. So, Daryl, we've just heard about Inferno, a potential runner in the Hong Kong Sprint. News coming out that Armadai unfortunately won't be coming to Hong Kong for the international meeting, but the likes of Magical, Sir Dragonet could be coming up here. So, in the most unusual of years, the pieces of the puzzle in terms of who will and who won't be here, they're starting to come together.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see how Lucky Lilac goes this weekend as well. Might see him back, and not only the puzzle in terms of the horses that might turn up, Ed, but also the riders. I think we're getting just that little bit closer to finding out who might be representing the world, so to speak, at the IJC meeting at Happy Valley.
Certainly, it's such an exciting week in Hong Kong racing. I touched on Sir Dragonet there. Darragh, the Cox Plate winner from Australia, although a former European galloper. Based on what he did on the Cox Plate, if he was to come up here, he'd be a super horse to have on the big day in December.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only him, but I suspect that Prince of Arran might come back here as well. So I think there's going to be a real international flavour about the international races when, as you said, in a COVID year, we thought that perhaps we were going to have it to ourselves.
And as far as the international races are concerned, Darragh, you've been involved in racing for many years and have travelled far and wide with this great sport of ours. What makes the second Sunday in December in Hong Kong so unique?
Well, I guess it's just that international flavour, isn't it? Horses and jockeys and participants, people, fans, everybody from all corners of the world come here for that big day, and often make a week or fortnight of it, and take in IJC night and the sights and sounds of Hong Kong City. So. Yeah, look, it's just so global, and because Hong Kong is located where it is, you know, there's people that want to come from all corners, which is great.
Yes, it's been the most unusual of years, and the 2020 Hong Kong International races will be different compared to previous years, but it still promises to be a fantastic day of racing. We'll be bringing you all the build-up to it here over the next few weeks on Hong Kong Direct. In the more immediate future, though, we're racing on Saturday at Sha Tin. The Panasonic Cup is the feature. We're going to elaborate on that in a moment. Wednesday night racing takes place at Happy Valley next week, and then the dress rehearsal for the Longines Hong Kong International races from a local point of view takes place on Sunday the 22nd of November with the Jockey Club Sprint, Mile and Cup. The final lead-up races for the local horses heading towards that big day in December. Darragh, let's try to find a winner, though, for the weekend. Focusing on the Panasonic Cup, our feature race. For mine, the two most interesting horses in it are Super Wealthy and Lucky Express, both fairly unexposed types of horses on the way up, who are stepping up to this Class 1 race.
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say Super Wealthy has been a little bit disappointing this preparation, but I know trainer Douglas White still has very high hopes for him to get back to winning form. Whether he can in this race, I'm not entirely sure, but he comes in under the handicap conditions with a decent weight. But the one you touched on, Lucky Express, to me probably stands out a little bit. I thought his run last time out was pretty good in a hot field and just sort of got squeezed up the last little bit, but he was finding the line terrific. He drops 10 pounds on that. Karis Teeton knows him well, and on initial looks, he looks the one for me, but you know, Fast Most Famous, Jolly Banner and a couple of others have to be respected as well.
Yes, I thought Starshine was another one that had to be respected. Blinkers go on for the first time. He might be an older horse, but the way that he's been racing against the likes of Mighty Giant and Columbus County, those form lines look pretty good.
Yeah, they do. They do. And obviously Joe has picked up the ride on Starshine, and that alone gives the horse a big tick as far as I'm concerned. OK. From a Kiwi point of view, Paul O'Sullivan, another Kiwi here in Hong Kong, trains Band of Brothers, who's been racing well, steps up to 1,400 metres. His wins have been over 1,400 and 1,600. You know he gives it his all, so is he a chance in this sort of race? He's such an honest horse, isn't he? Like, he tries so hard. He's drawn good. He's going to get a nice run in transit. Whether he's quite up to a Lucky Express and some of the others, I'm not entirely sure, but certainly looks like he's going to get the run of the race. OK, so in summary, Darragh, if we're backing one horse in the Panasonic Cup, where are we putting our money towards? Look, you're putting me on the spot a little bit, but probably Lucky Express if I was to pick one. OK, well, Darragh, thank you very much for taking the time to join us on the show. All the best for the racing on Saturday, and happy birthday for Friday. Good on you, Ed. Thanks very much for having me. Thanks to Darragh Anderson for joining us as our in-studio guest this week on Hong Kong Direct. We're going to finish up the show by paying tribute to a special horse in Hong Kong, Beat the Clock. What a marvellous sprinter he's been. Four-time Group 1 winner, and all of those Group 1 wins, he was ridden to victory by the magic man, Joe Moreira.
Very special horse, as I said to the owners and to John himself. He's got a place in my heart. I have never been on top of a horse that has been so consistent in such a long campaign. And no doubt those races that we won with him, the international race and the champion sprint, you know, I just did not see that happening when he started off his campaign. And as it went by, he kept on giving us joy and all those success that he had. And for us being involved with him, I just feel myself a blessed person. And I just couldn't be more thankful to the horse himself and also to the connection that gave me a chance to be on board of him most of his races. What he's gonna have from now on, I wish him the best. I hope the owner is very kind, which I think he is, to keep on looking after him, send him to a proper place, and he deserves to carry on having a very good life. He's being well looked after by John, and all that we gotta hope is that he's gonna be well looked after wherever he goes.